Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is all about finding your spark.
Yeah. And we're going to be diving into a speech by Simon Sinek.
Oh, Sinek. He's always got some really interesting insights.
Absolutely. And today we're going to be specifically talking about a speech he gave where he lays out these 5 rules for, bringing your spark to life.
Okay, 5 rules. I'm ready. Hit me with number 1.
All right, rule number 1, go after what you want.
Okay, go after what you want.
But, and here's the catch, don't stop others from doing the same.
I like that. So, pursue your own goals, but don't get in other people's way.
Exactly. It's not a zero-sum game. There's enough success to go around.
And he actually illustrates this rule with a really fun story about a bagel.
Oh, yeah, the bagel story.
So he's at this race, and afterwards there's this table piled high with free bagels.
Free bagels. Who doesn't love a free bagel?
Right. But of course, there's a huge line.
Yeah, there's always a line for free food.
And his friend just walks right past, doesn't even want to bother waiting.
Makes sense. I mean, who wants to wait in a long line? Right.
But Sinek, he's like, free bagels. I'm in. So he gets in line and grabs a couple.
So what's the takeaway there? I mean, it's a funny anecdote, but what's he getting at?
I think he's saying it's easy to get so focused on the obstacles, the long line in this case, that you miss the opportunity right in front of you.
The free bagels.
Exactly. So sometimes we need to, look past the obstacles and see those free bagels in our own lives.
I love that, the free bagels. It's like those opportunities that are just waiting to be seized.
So being resourceful, not just waiting for things to be handed to you. What do you think?
Yeah, totally. It's about having that go-getter attitude. And speaking of getting things done, that kind of leads us to rule number 2.
All right, bring on rule number 2.
Rule number 2 is a bit more serious.
Oh.
Yeah. Sometimes you're the problem. Take accountability.
Ooh, that's a tough one. No one likes to admit they're the problem.
It is tough. But Sinek uses this really powerful historical example to illustrate this point.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
Puerperal fever. Have you ever heard of that?
Puerperal fever. Rings a bell. Remind me.
It was basically the Black Death of childbed ravaged Europe in the 18th century.
Sounds pretty scary.
Oh, it was devastating. Women were dying just days after giving birth. Doctors had no idea what was causing it.
No clue.
Nope. It took decades for a doctor named Oliver Wendell Holmes to finally crack the case.
And what did he find?
You ready for this? The doctors themselves were spreading the disease.
The doctors. Yeah.
They were performing autopsies and then delivering babies without washing their hands.
Oh, wow. Basic hygiene. We take that for granted these days.
I know, right? But back then, it was a revolutionary concept. And even when Holmes presented his findings, he faced huge resistance.
Because people don't want to admit they're part of the problem.
Exactly. And this might seem like ancient history, but how often do we do the same thing in our own lives? Maybe on a smaller scale.
I see what you mean. Like blaming traffic for being late instead of just leaving earlier.
Exactly. Or, not hitting a deadline and blaming it on something else.
Right. So this rule isn't just about huge historical blunders. It's about owning up to those everyday slip-ups, too.
Yeah. Recognizing our part, no matter how small, is always the first step to fixing things.
All right. I'm liking these rules so far. They're really making me think.
Good. That's the goal. Now, for rule number 3, let's shift gears a bit.
Okay, where are we going?
To the Navy SEALs.
Navy SEALs. What do they have to do with finding our spark?
Well, Sinek uses them to illustrate his 3rd rule. Take care of each other.
Take care of each other. That's pretty straightforward.
It is, but he puts it in this really interesting context. You think about SEAL training, it's all about finding the toughest, the strongest.
Right. The best of the best.
Right. So you'd think it's all about individual strength and ability.
But it's not.
Well, not entirely. Sinek spoke to a SEAL instructor who said, the ones who actually make it through training
are the ones who
help the person next to them, even when they're exhausted, ready to quit.
Wow, that's powerful. So it's not just about individual grit, it's about teamwork and support.
Exactly. True strength lies in collaboration. It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
That's a good one. And it makes me think, who do I need to ask for help from?
That's a great question. And who can you offer support to?
It's a two-way street, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, on to rule number 4.
Okay, rule number 4. Be the last to speak.
Be the last to speak. Sounds interesting. Tell me more.
So Sinek tells this story about Nelson Mandela and how he learned about leadership from his father.
Mandela, wow, that's Quite a role model.
Right. So his father was a tribal chief, and whenever they had meetings, he would always sit in a circle with the
I'm
elders.
guessing he didn't jump right in and dominate the conversation.
Nope. He always spoke last.
Spoke class, huh? That's kind of counterintuitive for a leader. Why would he do that?
Because it wasn't about holding on to power, it was about empowering others.
By letting them speak first?
Exactly. By speaking last, he made sure everyone else felt heard, like their opinions mattered.
So their thoughts weren't overshadowed by his because he was the leader.
Exactly. It prevented his position from, swaying the group before they had a chance to really think things through.
Wow, that's pretty insightful.
It is, right. And it's something we can all apply, whether we're leading a team at work or even just having dinner with friends.
So it's a reminder to really listen and understand where others are coming from before jumping in with our own thoughts.
Exactly. You might be surprised by what you learn when you prioritize listening over speaking.
Okay, I'm ready for rule number 5. This is the last one, right?
It is. And this one might throw you for a loop.
Oh, lay it on me.
Rule number 5. You deserve a styrofoam cup.
A styrofoam cup. I'm not sure I follow.
It's based on the story Sinek tells about a former Undersecretary of Defense.
Okay, so we're talking high-level government official.
Yeah. And this guy is used to, all the perks that come with the job.
Like what?
Flying business class, getting greeted at the airport, chauffeured around, the whole VIP treatment.
Yeah, it sounds pretty nice.
Right. And even when he's traveling, he gets coffee served to him in a nice ceramic cup.
Okay, so far so good. But where does the styrofoam cup come in?
Well, after he leaves his position, it's back to reality.
Meaning?
Coach flights, taxis, self-service coffee, and a plain old styrofoam cup.
And that styrofoam cup is a symbol for what?
For realizing that all those perks, they weren't about him personally. They came with the position.
Oh, I get it. It's like a reality check. It's easy to start thinking you're entitled to special treatment because of your job.
Exactly. But what if those perks are more about the role you're playing, not about you as an individual?
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in that, especially as you achieve success.
It is. And that's where we need to be careful, right? We need to remember those perks aren't about us. They're about the position.
So it's a reminder to stay grounded, appreciate the good things, but not take them for granted. Okay, this is all making a lot of sense. But how do we put this styrofoam cup principle into practice?
It's about, just being aware, recognizing those perks in our own lives and remembering they might not last forever.
So don't let them go to your head, basically.
Exactly. Stay humble, stay grateful, and remember your worth isn't tied to those external things.
It's about treating everyone with respect, regardless of their position.
That's a good one. And remembering that, success is often fleeting. Those fancy job titles, the VIP treatment, it can all disappear as quickly as it appeared.
But what really stays with us is our character, our values, how we treat other people.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Sinek actually ends his speech by addressing the younger generation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he acknowledges the challenges they're facing, but he's also really optimistic about their ability to create a better future.
It's good to hear some optimism these days.
I know, right? It's a call to action for all of us, young and old, to take these 5 rules and really use them to make a positive impact.
So it's inspiring to hear his belief in the next generation, but it also puts a certain responsibility on us.
Responsibility to do what?
To lead by example, to actually live these rules and create a world worthy of their optimism.
I like that. Leading by example. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have. And I'm already feeling inspired. These 5 rules, they're simple, but they're really powerful.
They are. And what's great is they can be applied to so many different areas of life.
Work, relationships, even just how we approach everyday challenges.
Exactly. It's like a framework for living with more intention, more integrity.
And what really resonates with me is how they all come back to human connection.
In what way?
Well, whether it's supporting someone who's struggling, or really listening with an open mind, or just remembering we all deserve respect.
These rules remind us we're not alone, that we're all in this together.
Exactly. So as we move forward,
With what?
with whatever challenges and opportunities come our way, let's keep these rules in mind.
I think that's a great idea. Remember, go after those free bagels, take accountability, take care of each other, be the last to speak, and remember, you deserve a styrofoam cup.
You deserve a styrofoam cup. I'm going to remember that one.
Ah,
All right, that's it for part 1 of our deep dive into Simon Sinek's 5 rules for finding your spark.
stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into these ideas and explore how to apply them to our own lives.
See you then.
It was about creating space for others to share their thoughts without feeling, pressured by the leader's opinion.
Yeah, so it's like leveling the playing field a bit.
Exactly. It prevents his position from swaying the group before they have a chance to form their own ideas.
And that's something we can all apply, right? Whether we're at work, in our communities, or even just with friends and family.
Absolutely. It's a reminder to listen actively, to really understand where others are coming from before jumping in with our own thoughts.
I like that. So listening first, speaking second. Okay, on to rule number 5. What do we got?
Okay, rule number 5 is, well, it's a bit unexpected.
Unexpected how?
It's called You Deserve a Styrofoam Cup.
A styrofoam cup. What's that all about? I'm intrigued.
Well, it comes from the story Sinek tells about a former Undersecretary of Defense.
Undersecretary of Defense. So we're talking pretty high up there.
Oh, yeah, top level. And this guy, he's used to all the perks that come with the job.
Private jets, fancy dinners, that kind of thing?
Exactly. Business class flights, being greeted at the airport, chauffeured around. He even gets his coffee served in a nice ceramic cup when he's traveling.
Okay, so the high life, the VIP treatment.
But then he leaves his position and it's back to reality. Coach flights, taxis, and you guessed it,
Styrofoam cups.
styrofoam cups. And that's when it hits him.
What hits him?
All those perks, they weren't about him. They were about the position he held.
It's like a reality check, right?
Exactly. It's so easy to start thinking you're special, entitled to those perks because of who you are.
But they're not about you. They're about the role you're playing.
Right. And that can be a tough pill to swallow, especially when you've achieved a certain level of success.
So this styrofoam cup analogy, it's about staying grounded.
Yeah, staying humble, remembering that those perks, they might last forever.
And your worth isn't tied to them.
Exactly. So appreciate the good things, be grateful, but don't let them define you.
It's about treating everyone with respect, whether they're holding a styrofoam cup or a ceramic cup.
Love that. And remembering that success, it can be fleeting. Those fancy job titles, the VIP treatment, poof, gone.
What really matters is who you are as a person, right?
Your character, your values, how you treat other people.
That's the stuff that lasts.
Absolutely. Sinek actually ends his speech by talking about the younger generation.
Interesting. What did he say?
He acknowledges the challenges they're facing, but he's also incredibly optimistic about their potential.
Their potential to do what?
To create a better future, a brighter future.
That's pretty hopeful.
It is. It's a call to action for all of us to use these 5 rules to make a positive impact.
It's inspiring to hear his belief in them, but it also, puts a certain responsibility on us.
What kind of responsibility?
To lead by example, to show them what it means to live with integrity, to go after what you want, to take accountability, all that good stuff.
Lead by example. I like that a lot. So, big picture, what are your main takeaways from all this?
Well, these 5 rules, they're pretty simple, but they're packed with wisdom.
Simple but powerful.
And what strikes me is how relevant they are to so many different areas of life.
Like what?
Our work, our relationships, even just how we approach everyday challenges.
Absolutely. They're like a blueprint for, living with more intention, more purpose.
And what I keep coming back to is how it all circles back to human connection.
What do you mean?
Well, whether it's supporting someone who's struggling or really listening to understand or just remembering we all deserve to be treated with respect.
Yeah, these rules remind us we're not alone, that we're all in this together.
Exactly. So as we move forward, with whatever life throws our way, let's keep these rules close at hand.
I think that's a great idea. Go after those free bagels.
Take accountability.
Take care of each other.
Be the last to speak.
And remember, you deserve a styrofoam cup.
You deserve a styrofoam cup. I love it. All right, that's it for part 2 of our deep dive into Simon Sinek's 5 rules for finding your spark.
Tune in for part 3, where we'll wrap things up and leave you with some final thoughts to ponder.
See you then. It makes you think about, what leadership really means.
Yeah, it's not just about having a fancy title or being in charge.
It's about how you show up, how you treat others, the values you embody.
It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. And these 5 rules from Sinek, they're like a roadmap for that kind of leadership.
A roadmap that anyone can follow, no matter where they are in life.
Right. It's not just for CEOs and politicians.
It's for parents, teachers, community organizers, anyone who wants to make a difference.
So let's recap those 5 rules one more time.
All right, rule number 1. Go after what you want, but don't stop others from doing the same.
Rule number 2. Sometimes you're the problem. Take accountability.
Rule number 3. Take care of each other.
Rule number 4. Be the last to speak.
And rule number 5. You deserve a styrofoam cup.
5 simple rules, but they pack a punch.
They really do. They make you stop and think.
And what I find so compelling is how they all come back to this idea of human connection.
Yeah, it's about recognizing our shared humanity, our interdependence.
Whether it's supporting someone who's struggling, or truly listening to understand, or just remembering that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
These rules remind us that we're all in this together.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this question.
Okay, what's the question?
What are some perks in your life that you might be taking for granted?
That's a good one. It's easy to lose sight of those things.
It is. And what opportunities do you have to go after those free bagels, to help someone out, to truly listen and understand?
These are the things that matter, the things that bring meaning to our lives.
And if we can all strive to embody these 5 rules, imagine the kind of world we could create.
A world where everyone feels empowered to find their spark and bring it to life.
That's a world worth fighting for. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those sparks burning.